As California and the Palisades area see devastation, the likes of which no one can even understand or comprehend, as devastating wildfires tear through, destroy Southern California, burning thousands and thousands of acres, forcing tens of thousands to evacuate. I think 70,000 by last count. It becomes rather starkly and obviously clear how the prioritization of DEI, this diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense over competence, has led to catastrophic failures. Kristin Crowley, the queen of the quota, the latest DEI poster child, was appointed as the LA Fire Department chief in 2022. And she's been at the forefront of this debacle, this catastrophe, focusing more on her identity as the first woman and lesbian chief than on ensuring the department's readiness for emergencies, which she's supposed to do. That's her sole focus. Not to lead the charge in this equity nonsense. Watch this if you can possibly not puke. It's just, I mean, it's absolutely horrid.
Los Angeles Fire Department is launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau.
Look at the, it's like they're announcing it, McDonald's has the McRib coming back. Oh, it's nice. They're just smiling. It's funny. One more time. Make sure you understand this.
The Fire Department is launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau.
Wonderful.
It is dedicated to ensuring a fair and equal workplace environment.
Not competence, not saving lives, not protecting property, not doing what the fire department is supposed to do. No, but setting the trend, being trendsetters in this DEI, which is now DEAD as far as I'm concerned.
Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero is live in North Hollywood with more on what it entails and why it's necessary.
Why it's necessary? It's necessary to forge ahead with this nonsense over competence.
Dion?
Ellen, Colleen, the discrepancies are stark, even just on paper. The LAFD this year hired its first ever female chief, and it says so far this year, 8% of its applicants have been women. That might...
Now, okay, I want to know why is that necessarily bad? You know how many Cambodians were recruited for the NBA? None. Is that racist?
It sounds like a small number, but it's actually twice the percentage of female firefighters currently in the department.
Wow.
Every day, the LAFD is called.
First of all, what said this was, I think, a year or so old, this piece. It's not brand new, but what is this? Vintage? Is this historic? This is it? Compare our fire brigades to that of Europe.
Upon to respond to crises, and today it is taking a step to resolve one of its own. The department's first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau will launch in January, 1 year since its first ever.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at her. By God, she's setting these guys straight. I like to see old Crowley grab a hose. Wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. Grab some heavy equipment and make her way up, stairwells, and anyway.
Female fire chief Kristin Crowley was appointed.
So by creating this new bureau, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, now we actually have the staff to do the work when it comes to doing a deep dive in regard to how we do business, how we take care of one another in the fire stations and in our work environment.
The plan is to do so by adding training and enforcing accountability. Calls for accountability have echoed for years. In 2021, women's advocacy groups, including one representing female firefighters, pushed for changes at the highest level, saying a system within the department exposes them to abuse, bullying, and a culture of intimidation and retaliation.
Talk to anybody in SEAL Team 6 or the Marines or the police about bullying. This is because we don't want to have any bullying. Now this lady's she's this new, and by the way, do we say lesbian anymore, or do you say this as lesbian? She now is ensuring the department's readiness for emergency, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. No, she's not. She's focusing on her identity, this identitarian stuff. Nobody's talking about what their job is. And her initiatives like the establishment of a DEI or Diversity Bureau and a commitment to DEI over merit have been criticized soundly as not merely misguided, but dangerous, especially when lives and properties are at stake. These fires, these apocalyptic, cataclysmic fires, have not only ravaged the landscape, but also have laid bare for everybody to see and expose the incompetence of leadership that prioritizes social agendas over practical life-saving measures. With fire hydrants running dry in critical areas. Gee, that kind of defeats the purpose. It's evident that her focus has been misplaced, and I'm being kind. Her leadership, lauded and applauded for its diversity rather than its effectiveness, has failed the city when it mattered most. And the irony of celebrating DEI while the city burns is, to say the least, a bitter pill for residents who expected protection, not a parade of ideologies. The situation mirrors a broader trend where women often selected for their alignment with DEI goals rather than their qualifications hold positions in public safety and governance. I just did a brand new newsletter. I hope you're signed up for it. I call it Lionel Nation News. They're now holding positions in public safety. How about that NOLA Superintendent Police Fossil Ann Kirkpatrick, huh? How about this? This is just incredible. How about the woman who basically her tenure has been basically known for? Remember how she got here? By the way, just do a quick dive. She basically ran some people over. I think she was in Oakland, that last fashion. I mean, this is just, I mean, this, you saw her. She's a year younger than me. Dear God. Then there's Mayor LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrell of Nowlands, whose administrative abilities have been criticized for, among other things, inefficiency and corruption. She's under investigation. And don't forget Alethea Duncan, the sad sack ASAC, the nasally bejeweled FBI head, who couldn't lure me out of a burning building, whose leadership, there's no leadership. Again, another one. Now understand something. The consequences of this, the real life consequences of these stupid appointments, these quota appointments, are not just administrative failures, but they represent a shift, a catastrophic, cataclysmic, dangerous shift from merit to identity politics. When disaster strikes, and it has in Los Angeles, the public doesn't care about the diversity statistics of their firefighters. They care about whether those firefighters can effectively combat the fires, whether they're given the equipment. Nobody cares on gender and sexual orientation. They care about the capability of doing their job when people's lives are at stake. I mean, this is, what will it take? Is there a wake-up call that's even possible, or is the patient in a coma? And no, moreover, the absence of Mayor Karen Bass during the crisis. She's in Ghana? She's vacationing in Ghana. And by the way, thank God, maybe not, but Gavin Newsom finally showed up. While her city burns, further illustrating and demonstrating the neglect of duty in favor of this political showmanship. Her decision to cut the LAFD, the fire department budget, by nearly $20 million, reducing funds for operational supplies, directly contributed to the department's unpreparedness. That's a fact. This, combined with the failure to maintain water reserves, paints a picture, a bleak and horrible picture, of a leadership more concerned with appearances and identitarian nonsense than with the actual welfare of the city they are charged to protect. This discourse, this discussion, this has been, and thank God for platforms like X, where public figures like the great James Woods and others who are criticizing the prioritization. And by the way, did you see how days before, in some cases, fire insurance was canceled? Do you think they knew something? This goes to show you the legitimate rise in growing public frustration. And the backlash is not just against Crowley, but it's against a system that seems to value ideological checkboxes and quota marks over the safety and well-being of their citizens. This narrative is clear. It is absolutely clear. When diversity trumps competence, the result is disaster and death, not diversity. This is the most incredible thing in the world. This must serve as the final wake-up call. And the best part is, you would think a lot of these people who voted for Biden and others, you think maybe now they realize they might maybe finally come to the dance and say, wait a minute, maybe these right-wing nationalist folks are speaking about it. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. My friends, I want you right now to vote, to speak your mind in the comment section, to comment about this. What do you think is this? What do you think? What will this be? Will this be just another example of business as usual, or will this maybe, in view of what's going on in New Orleans and in Las Vegas, you think maybe something will happen? I hope so. Not just for me, but for this country. If you pray for the people of Los Angeles. Pray for them. And comment, dear friends. Comment as you see fit.